father's oath. The village of Umidike had seen many tales of warriors and love, but none as gripping as the story of Adanna, the woman who defied fate. She was only 23 when tragedy struck. Her husband, Ikenna, was a warrior, a protector, a man of honor. His sudden death shattered her world, leaving her with their infant son, also named Ikenna. Many women in her position would have remarried. But Adanna? No. He is still alive, she would say. He lives in our son. Her parents, Okeke and Ubik, were troubled. A young widow was expected to find another husband. It was the way of things. One evening, they gathered in the compound, the air heavy with unspoken words. Adanna, her father began, his voice firm, "You cannot remain like this. Life must go on." She clutched her son tightly. "My life is with my child." Her mother wiped her eyes. "You are wasting away. Do you think Ikenna would want this for you?" Adanna's jaw tightened. "Ikenna wanted us to be happy. And I am happy raising our son." Her father sighed deeply. "Even the king's son has asked for your hand. Do you not see what an honor this is?" Adanna's response was swift. "I do not want him." Okeke slammed his walking stick against the ground. "Stubborn girl. Do you think you are the first woman to lose a husband? You will regret this." But she remained firm, standing and walking into her hut, bolting the door behind her. Among the people watching this unfold was Obiora, Ikenna's closest friend. Obiora had always been there for her. Since Ikenna's death, he had stepped up, helping her with farm work, bringing her food when he thought she hadn't eaten, defending her when others whispered that she was foolish for refusing to remarry. But beneath his kindness lay a dark obsession. He wanted her. At first, he convinced himself it was just concern, that he simply wanted to protect her. But as time passed, he realized the truth: he was in love with Adanna. He wanted her to be his. Yet, she never looked at him that way. She never looked at any man that way. The more she refused to consider marriage, the more it enraged him. One night, as he sat in his hut, staring at the flickering flame of his oil lamp, a dark thought took root in his mind. If Ikenna is the only reason she won't move on, then, what if he wasn't in the picture anymore? He shuddered at his own thought. No, I cannot harm a child. But the more he thought about it, the more the idea consumed him. Without Ikenna, she will have no choice but to move on. And who else would she turn to but me? His fingers clenched into a fist. If fate would not give him Adanna, he would take her. By hook or by crook. Adanna had just put little Ikenna to sleep when she heard it, the sound of footsteps outside. Before she could react, her door burst open. Two men stormed in, their faces concealed, their movements swift. Adanna screamed, lunging for her son, but one of them struck her hard across the face. She collapsed to the ground, dazed, as they snatched Ikenna from his sleeping mat. "No. Please. Not my son," she cried, crawling toward them. One of the men, taller than the other, hesitated for a moment. He glanced at her, there was something almost familiar in his stance. Then, without another word, they disappeared into the night. Adanna's screams shattered the silence of the village. Torches were lit, men ran into the darkness, but it was too late. Ikenna was gone. Obiora was the first to reach her. He lifted her from the ground, holding her close as she sobbed. "We will find him," he whispered. "I swear it." She clung to his arm, unaware of the cruel irony in his words. For years, Adanna searched for her son. She wandered from village to village, chasing rumors and false leads. She confronted the king's son, accusing him of orchestrating the kidnapping. But the prince had been furious at the accusation. "I may have desired you, Adanna," he said, "but I am no coward. I do not steal children." Adanna had left, confused and lost. If it wasn't him, then who? She had never once suspected Obiora. All these years, he had been her greatest support. He had taken care of her, defended her, protected her. And yet, it was his hands that had orchestrated her greatest pain. Far away, in a different village, a boy named Udoka had become a legend. He was a Bubdike, the youngest warrior to kill a lion with his bare hands. Strong, tall, fair-skinned, with a smile that made maidens blush, he was the pride of his village. But one fateful night, everything changed. As he lay in his hut, he heard it, a song. A distant melody, faint yet familiar. Drawn by the tune, he stepped outside and saw her, a woman, ragged and frail, standing in the shadows. "Who are you?" he asked. She took a trembling step forward. "You are my son, Adanna." Udoka frowned. "Woman, I am not your son. My name is Udoka." Tears welled in Adanna's eyes. "Look at this," she said, showing him a necklace. "And now, look at yours." He hesitated, then touched the pendant around his neck. Identical carvings. A storm raged inside him. Could this woman be telling the truth? By morning, he called a meeting with his foster parents. And then, the truth was revealed. "You were never ours," his foster father admitted. "You were kidnapped as a baby, left to drown in the river. But we saved you." Adanna gasped. Who did this?" The name was spoken. Obiora. A sickening silence filled the room. Her husband's best friend. The man she had trusted most. A man who had loved her so much, he was willing to destroy her to have her. When Adanna and Adanna returned to Umidike, the village erupted in celebration. She was given the title Odegu Nwani, the mighty woman, the warrior mother who walked through fire to bring her son home. As for Obiora, he tried to flee, but the villagers did not let him. Justice was swift. He was banished forever. That night, mother and son sat together under the moonlight. "I never stopped searching for you," Adanna whispered. Adanna squeezed her hand. "And I never stopped hearing your song." Fate had torn them apart, but love had brought them back together. Please, subscribe, like and share this video for more interesting stories. Thank you.